system leaders asking for a tuition increase.
There's a new doctor in town. Find out what that means for Planned Parenthood.
And the Missouri primary a week away. What does it really mean? KOMU 8 News at 9 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on. This is KOMU 8 News at 9 on the CW.
The state is buzzing over a suggested tuition hike for the system. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Cooper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. That doesn't mean the curators are set to make changes anytime soon. KOMU 8's Caitlin Alexander is live with the latest numbers. Caitlin.
Lots of numbers on the table right now, Jim and Lindsay. I'm on MU's campus right now where about 30,000 students attend classes here. And as you look behind me, these guys down here could potentially be paying an additional 7.5% per credit hour in the future. That's after Governor Nixon approved or proposed a 12.5% decrease in state funding. Now the system wants the Board of Curators to consider additional tuition hikes at their meeting this week in Kansas City. That's Thursday and Friday. Let's take a quick look at those proposed hikes on your screen there. MU's looking at a 7.5% increase. UMKC's looking at about 3% and S&T at 9%. UMSL there, 8.2% hike. Here's what those hikes look like compared to the current cost of in-state credit hours. MU students would be paying, as you can see there, $20 more per credit hour. I spoke with a rep for the curators today, and she told me she doesn't expect that the board will actually vote on those proposed hikes this week. However, when the curators do, if they do pass the hikes, it would go to the Department of Higher Education, who would have to approve a penalty for passing hikes above the current rate of inflation. The rep also told me that meeting again will be in Kansas City. That's this Thursday and Friday. Reporting live in Columbia, Caitlin Alexander, KOMU 8 News.
Caitlin, thank you very much. MU students are taking action to fight the proposed tuition increases. They've drafted this letter saying the governor's plan is egregious in its blatant disregard for MU. Missouri Student Association, or MSA, printed 6,000 copies for students to sign. They'll be passing them out on campus tomorrow. Once MSA workers have the letters signed, they'll take them to the governor's office. MSA workers say the budget cut is too drastic and would have a horrible effect on education in the state.
We lose the opportunity on higher education for the state of Missouri, that our students that attend this university and the University of Missouri system are not getting the fullest education that's possible.
The organization says the governor's proposed cuts would inflict immeasurable harm to the state.
The cloud cover continues to sit over the top of us here in central Missouri. Eventually, that's going to move on out of here, but we still warmed up well above average despite not having that sunshine out there today. We'll go ahead now and take a look at satellite and radar composite. You'll notice not really much in the way of precipitation. That is further off to the east of us. We will continue to see those clouds slowly decreasing during the overnight hours, and because we should be partly cloudy by early morning, temperatures a little cooler to start. We'll be back into the upper 30s tomorrow. Still well above average, though.
Great.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
1 week from tonight, Missouri holds its primary for the Republican presidential nominee.
KOMU 8's Will Peterson is here in the studio, and when it comes to this primary, there is a catch, right, Will?
That's right, Jim. We're going to have to synchronize our calendars to make sense of this situation. The Missouri legislature moved the state's primary to February 7th. But that broke the Republican National Committee rule, which only allows Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina to hold binding primaries or caucuses before March 6. If Missouri kept that date as a binding primary, the Republican National Committee could punish the state by allowing only half of its delegates to the National Nominating Convention, clearly a risk Missouri wasn't willing to take. So the state GOP decides to hold its caucus March 17th. That means state leaders have made next Tuesday's primary non-binding, meaning the results will not factor into who gets the presidential bid. So who is campaigning in Missouri with next Tuesday's results not affecting the nomination? For now, only former Senator Rick Santorum. Santorum spoke to a group of supporters in St. Charles yesterday. It's still unclear which candidates will actually be in Missouri next Tuesday for the primary. So recapping some important dates you need to know. 1 week from tonight is the non-binding Missouri primary. A spokesman from the Gingrich campaign told KOMU 8 that primary doesn't matter because it's a, quote, beauty contest and would be a waste of money. On March 17th, Missouri will hold a caucus which will determine candidate the state will nominate for the Republican presidential bid. On August 27th, the Republican National Convention kicks off in Tampa, Florida, and this all leads up to the main event, the 57th presidential election, November 6th. One last note, with Romney's win in Florida tonight, he became the first Republican candidate to win multiple states. Certainly something to keep an eye on.
Thanks, Will. A new doctor means Planned Parenthood will start performing abortions again in mid-Missouri. KOMU 8's Meredith Baldwin is in studio tonight. Meredith, why did the abortions even stop to begin with?
Lindsay, after the clinic's doctor who performed abortions left last fall, the clinic stopped offering abortions. That meant there was only one Planned Parenthood clinic in the entire state where women could go for the procedure. The other 13 clinics in the state only provide abortion referrals, which is when a clinic connects a patient with a doctor who can perform the surgery at a different location. However, several months of searching and Planned Parenthood's finally found a new doctor to perform abortions. Her first day at the Columbia Clinic is tomorrow, but she's performed the procedure several times before. At first, she's limited to giving abortion pills to patients, but soon she will be providing surgical abortions. Statistics show only 3% of Missouri's abortions are done here. The State Department of Health and the local Planned Parenthood rep both refuse to talk about the issue, but the president of Planned Parenthood of Kansas and Mid-Missouri says there's a strong need in the area.
Thanks, Meredith. Today is the end of Radon Action Month, but it is not the end of the health problems radon can cause. Radon, an odorless and tasteless natural gas, seeps up from the ground. It's the second leading cause of lung cancer. The only way to detect radon in your home or office is to do a test. Hardware stores sell do-it-yourself testing kits, and one employee says they're pretty important.
My neighbor's got it. He has a fan installed underneath the house, and it sucks up all the air, and it just disperses it out into the open, and it's fine. But yeah, it can go house to house. Just depends on what's underneath it.
You can get free radon testing kits through the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, but keep in mind there is a waiting list.
About 30 Missouri educators came to Columbia today to explore more ways the university and local schools can work together. The meeting discussed future plans for Missouri students. Parkade Elementary School is already benefiting from the partnership. College-aged education majors in Columbia are spending time in Parkade classrooms to increase teacher-student interaction, which the principal says is beneficial for all students.
Most significantly are the opportunities we're provided to design instruction in different ways for kids. We're able to differentiate more significantly for groups of kids who need that.
The partnership includes 22 Missouri school districts and represents 178,000 students. Speaking of school news, the flu knocked out students and faculty in a small mid-Missouri school today. St. Stanislaus School in Wardsville, south of Jefferson City, canceled class and all extracurricular activities because of the flu. The school is one of 3 schools in Missouri to cancel class this week because of the flu and strep throat. Blair Oaks, just down the street, is just down the street from St. Stanislaus, and the superintendent says it wants to keep the flu out of Falcon territory.
This time of year, obviously, we tried to intensify some cleaning methods that we have. Obviously, hands are one of the big mechanisms that transmit germs that would ultimately lead to bacteria and viruses.
The Department of Education says so far the flu is no big deal.
The town of Bland is feeling a little relief after hearing the city's post office will stay open. Yesterday, the post office was told to shut down and move everything out. The lease was up. This news caused a small panic to its 1,100 postal patrons. The postal workers were told to have everything moved out within 24 hours and move operations to Owensville. But today, as boxes were being loaded, word came that the lease was re-signed. The mail would continue and the post office will stay open. One resident said the city would have lost something along with the move.
The most important thing, I think, we lose our identity. I mean, we're no longer Blaine, Missouri. We could be conceivably consolidated into Bell or Owensville or one of the adjoining communities, and it's a shame.
Before that lease extension was announced, residents gathered outside the building in protest. One Texas town is running out of water in the middle of a huge drought.
Everything is not so well. What's being done to fix the problem?
A rock slide has shut down a highway in Tennessee. Why state officials are still worried.
And a cold front is continuing to push through central Missouri. That's going to drop temperatures here significantly coming up in my extended forecast. All the details after this break.